Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for spending some time with me today. I really do appreciate it. And today, the first thing I'm going to talk about is, do you have to use fluorocarbon line to catch fish? The answer is yes and no, but fluorocarbon has its place, but no, you do not have to use it to catch fish. Braided line, I'm not a fan. I do not like it whatsoever. I do not use it on my reels except for backing. I use it for backing on my bait cast and spinning reel, so I don't use so much of my fluorocarbon and monofilament to fill my reel up. If I live somewhere like Florida, Tennessee, that's got the big grass mats, then yeah, I'd probably use it for flipping the grass mats and that kind of thing. But for flipping my heavy cover, treetops, brush piles, buckbrush, just the heavy brush cover that I fish in my area, there is some weeds, but it's not just extremely thick. You get into some thick stuff down on the Arkansas River, but I still don't use the braid. I still use either fluorocarbon or monofilament. My favorite monofilament is the Trilene Big Game in green. The clear doesn't seem to be as tough, but the green Big Game, that is some tough stuff. You can frickin' pull a boat with that stuff. And that is my choice, and it's cheap as heck too. $10 for like 1,000 yards or something, or other, whatever it is. It's ridiculously cheap. But that's the monofilament I use most of the time. And if it's night fishing time, then yeah, I'll get the old fluorescent blue Trilene out and put that on one or two poles. I don't put it on all of them because I don't use fluorescent line on all my poles when I'm fishing at night. Most time I don't use it, but if I have a night where the fish are biting very lightly, or it's one of those nights where you don't feel the fish, but all of a sudden your line's behind the boat, then yes, I'll start using the fluorescent line and turn the black light on. If they're hitting good, if I'm throwing a spinnerbait, buzz baits, something like that, or a crankbait at night, and I don't need to see my line, then it's either monofilament or fluorocarbon. But like I said, if you can't feel them, and all of a sudden you pick up on your line and it feels weird, and you turn your headlamp on to look at your line and your line's wrapped around the back of your boat, you do that a couple of times, and yeah, it's time to get the fluorescent line out. The only time that I use fluorocarbon is extreme clear water, like we have up toward the dam on Beaver, and like you have on Table Rock and Bull Shoals. If I'm fishing in the open water, if I'm fishing offshore, then I will fish the fluorocarbon because I think that makes a difference. Seems like I get more bites on the fluorocarbon when I'm fishing that open water, fishing points, fishing a drop off, fishing a bluff, something that doesn't have just a whole lot of cover. It's more structure oriented, and then I'll have the fluorocarbon on. If I'm fishing a jig or a worm or something, you know, I'll go down to 12 or 14 pound fluorocarbon. If it's got some bigger rock on it where you're hanging up some, and it's got a few little maybe brush piles or some laydowns or something on your point or whatever, then I'll bump up and wait. But other than that, if I'm pitching, flipping buckbrush, if I'm throwing a spinnerbait into buckbrush, a buzzbait into buckbrush, you know, dirtier water. If you got, it doesn't even have to be that dirty. I call it river green. It's just, you know, kind of a healthy water color in your rivers. It's kind of a green color, but it's clear, except it has that green tint to it. Like I said, I really don't know how to explain it other than just river water. It's not stained up or anything. You don't have to go to any special colors or anything to get bites. But then in dirty water, heavy cover, just river water and that kind of thing, I prefer my monofilament. And if you break it off, it doesn't cost you near as much to spool some back up. That fluorocarbon is freaking ridiculous on the prices that they want for fluorocarbon anymore. But if I'm fishing or like up north, you know, those smallmouth lakes, absolutely put on the fluorocarbon so they can't see your line. I mean, still in Beaver and Bull Shoals and Table Rock, I still use my Mean Green Trilene Big Game. Sometimes I may go ahead and just go down to the Trilene XL, especially if I'm not fishing in any kind of really cover. If I'm just fishing structure, I may use just the old regular clear Trilene XL or the Strand clear line. But I've always been more of a Trilene guy than a Strand guy. But whichever one you use, whichever brand you prefer, you can still go out and catch fish on your monofilaments, and don't fall into the gotta have fluorocarbon to catch fish craze, because you don't. If I'm just fun fishing, I don't really give a rat's rear end if I catch a bunch of them that day or not. Even in the clear water, I'll probably be fishing fluorocarbon. But, you know, I just don't want y'all, especially anybody that's new to fishing, I don't want y'all to think that you have to fish fluorocarbon to catch fish, because you don't. You can go out with monofilament, still catch fish. Even in the clear water, you can still trick the fish into biting. You may not get as many bites, but you can still get fish. So anyway, I just wanted to clear that up. I've heard people here lately talking about gotta have fluorocarbon, and people at the boat ramp and stuff talking about you just can't catch fish using that. And I was like, oh, baloney. I use it all the time. And a buddy of mine, Chris Johnson, and check out his YouTube channel, Aspiring Tournament Angler Chris Johnson. He's went back to using the old fluorocarbon lines. Now, he's a lot like me. He likes to fish old school power fish, and he doesn't have any of that high dollar electronics on his boat either. And Chris goes out there and he'll kick your butt. And he's whooped those guys with that live scope a lot. So anyway, just don't fall into the craze of you gotta have fluorocarbon. Fish what you like. If your budget doesn't allow you to fish fluorocarbon, then by all means go get you some mean green trilene, big game, and go catch you some fish. Go get you some clear blue trilene or strand or whatever you prefer, and go catch you some fish. And if you're not bass fishing, if you're crappie fishing, bluegill fishing, cat fishing, they don't care anyway. You can catch just as many bluegill, catfish, and crappie as you can on fluorocarbon. I do it all the time. I outfish buddies and other people on the lake with my monofilament catching crappie and stuff. They think they got to have the fluorocarbon. Anyway, well, I'm going to get off of here, and I hope you have a blessed weekend. Get out and do some fishing or hunting, whatever you wanted, whatever's going on this weekend for you. Get out and enjoy the outdoors. Take your family outdoors. Get them out. Get them away from the video games and the TV and the iPhones and the iPads, and have an electronic break. Everybody needs an electronic break. I have my kids, make them have electronic breaks once in a while. They don't need to stare at that screen all the blasted time. But anyway, I'm gonna get off here, and if you like this content, I hope you hit the like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys out on the water.